Hello, and welcome to the Canadian immigration video at IMMIGRATE. In this video, we will explain many of the ways it is possible to obtain permanent residence in Canada. In some cases, someone who is outside of Canada will be able to enter the country as a permanent resident, while others may have to be in Canada under a certain status before they can obtain permanent resident status. In this video, we will show you how to become a permanent resident through the following programs: the Skilled Worker Program, Family Class Sponsorship, Live-in Caregiver, Student Visa, Work Permit, and Business Immigration, such as entrepreneurs and investors. This video will outline the general points of each program. Once you have determined what program you may qualify for, we recommend you can watch the video specifically about that topic. Before we begin, some classes will have both a federal program and a program specifically for Quebec. Please be aware that each program may have some requirements that differ. Skilled Worker Program. In order to immigrate to Canada as a skilled worker, an applicant is assessed under a point system. Points are awarded for education level, knowledge of English or French, work experience, age, confirmed job offer in Canada, and adaptability in Canada. Skilled Worker class also requires you present proof of sufficient funds for when you arrive in Canada. There are two different skilled worker programs, federal and Quebec. The main difference between the two programs is that those applying as a skilled worker in Quebec must have their application approved by the Quebec government, whereas applicants to the federal program must be approved by the Government of Canada. Family Class Sponsorship. The Family Class Sponsorship allows Canadian citizens or permanent residents to sponsor family members living outside of Canada. Under the Family Class, it is possible to sponsor a spouse, common law partner, dependent child, parent, grandparent, or orphaned relative. Under the sponsorship program, the person sponsoring their family must meet certain requirements in order to qualify. If a sponsorship is approved, the sponsor takes full financial responsibility for the family members for 3 years. Live-in Caregiver Program. This program suits people who have not achieved a high level of education, but has gained experience working in as a caregiver, such as a nurse or childcare provider. Only foreign nationals who have enough training or a certain amount of experience in caregiving can qualify for the program. As part of the Live-in Caregiver program, the caregiver physically lives with their employers, who they are to provide care to. After 2 years of residing in Canada, it is possible to apply for permanent residence. At this point, a live-in caregiver may also perform a family class sponsorship to bring the rest of their family to Canada. Student visas. To enter Canada as a student, you must be admitted to a Canadian educational institute, such as a university or college. You must also prove that you have the ability to pay your tuition and any student fees in full. A student visa also grants the possibility of employment while in Canada. Almost all student visa holders are permitted to work on campus, and those who attend public educational institutions may apply for an off-campus work permit. After graduation, a student can find a job in Canada and move from a student visa to a work permit. After a few years of work experience, it may be possible to apply for permanent resident status. Work permit. To get a work permit to come into Canada, it is necessary to have a job offer from a Canadian employer. Upon receiving a job offer, both the employer and employee are required to complete a variety of procedures. Coming to Canada on a work permit also allows you to bring your family with you. Work permits will need to be renewed every 1 to 2 years, depending on your situation. After completing a few years of work in Canada, you may apply for permanent residence, or alternatively, you may continue to renew your work permit. Business Immigration. Canada offers different programs for business people to immigrate to Canada. Two classes of business immigration that we will discuss are entrepreneurs and investors. Someone who enters Canada under one of these categories will be granted permanent residency. Successful applicants to this class will have to comply with certain terms and conditions in order to retain their status as a permanent resident. Entrepreneurs. Under the entrepreneur class, it is expected that someone who enters Canada as an entrepreneur will be actively managing and directing a qualifying business under Canadian regulations. It is expected that the Canadian business being managed by the entrepreneur will create jobs and contribute to the Canadian economy. Moreover, an entrepreneur will need to acquire or establish a percentage of equity of the business, at least 1/3 of the business, to be able to enter under this class. Another requirement is that an entrepreneur shows that they have a net worth of at least 300,000 Canadian dollars. An entrepreneur must also have had experience in managing a qualifying business. One should be aware that there is an entrepreneur program at the federal level and a specific entrepreneur class for those wanting to enter Quebec. Investors. Just like the entrepreneur class, the investor class has a federal and Quebec program. In both cases, an applicant will have to show that they have a minimum net worth of at least 800,000 Canadian dollars and will be willing to invest at least 400,000 during a 5-year period to the federal or Quebec governments. The investment is guaranteed but at 0% interest. An applicant will be expected to have some experience in managing a business. In order to qualify under the investor class, an applicant will be assessed using a point grid. In all cases, anyone who applies to enter Canada under these classes must submit a medical examination and police clearance. In order to be able to enter Canada, an applicant must meet the admissibility requirements. If you wish to view additional videos, you may visit our website at www.immigroup.com. If you are on YouTube, please type in IMMIGRATE to see a list of all available subjects. We hope this video has helped you understand some of the options to immigrate to Canada. We wish you the best of luck.